Welcome back, Keepers of the Flame. Alright, we're going to do Sagittarius. I know I'm going off. That whole Valentine's Day read thing threw me off, so I'm going to do Sagittarius. Sagittarius! I think I'm on fire. So, I mean, like, on the fire signs. So, that's what we're doing. Sagittarius. Put your little flame on top of there. Little Spitfire. See what we can come up with. What does Sagittarius need to know? Again, this is like a brand spanking new deck, so I'm still breaking her in. So excuse the mess. Few more. Rosebud Tarot by Harper and Stilwell. Absolutely love it. The Moon card. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And the Five of Fire. Alright, Sagittarius, what is... Ooh, okay. Three of Fire, straight out the gate. You're bound and determined to get something here. You know where you want to go, or you're heading off on your journey. Alright, Saggy, what else? Okay, not those. Alright, a novel it is. Oh, the Seeker at the bottom. So what's the read? The World in Reverse. And Generosity of Fire in Reverse. Okay. Well, let's see what we got up here. Curiosity of Earth. It's the Page of Earth. Or Page of Pentacles, I'm sorry. Velocity of Water. The Knight. The Knight of Cups. Six of Air in Reverse. Not moving to safer waters. The Eight of Earth. Unwilling to work on something. The Sun. The Five of Earth in Reverse. So you're leaving someone else out in the cold. Two of Earth. See how that rotates through the cosmos. Oop. The Hierophant in Reverse. Or this is Professor in this deck. But really no. It's an authoritative figure that gets to decide what kind of knowledge you receive. And the Four of Air, meditating on that. Okay, somebody else had a similar hit for this. Okay. So you are definitely being the seeker here, and you're asking a lot of freaking questions. And you don't care about the consequences for asking the correct questions. Nicely done, Saggy. Oh, your philosophy nature serves you well. Because you're looking at these patterns of repeating themselves. Not just out in the cosmos, but within your own life here. Because you have the generosity of air or fire in the reverse, which is the Queen of Wands in reverse. So you're understanding that this sort of thing right here, when somebody has authority over who gets to know what information, things start going the FRI. Not just on a collective basis, but for you as a person and every other individual involved. Ugh. Okay. So you are playing here. You're seeing how this goes up out into the cosmos and comes back. And it ain't good. Because this authority figure here has dropped the ball somewhere. And you're trying to explore the territory, shedding light on everything here. But you're not giving this any more time, energy, or resources to get to the bottom of this. So you're not willing to like work with this energy until you understand how exactly it works out in the end. See how they're growing out of the pot, but their heads are up in the ethos. And even though this is the Two of Earth, this is the symbol for water here. So if you can feel it as an emotion, that's what resonance is emotion. I know everybody's going to demonize emotion. But that's how they keep you kind of disconnected. Sorry, I have something in my eyeball. Cat hair. Yay! Okay, so when your emotion resonates with something, don't ignore it. Don't say, it's just a coincidence, or it's probably just a trigger, I'll deal with it later. No, sit with it now. Why is it there? Sit with it now. Why is it there? Hierophant. I don't know if you were privy to that conversation in my previous videos. If you break the word down on an etymology basis, it comes up with the air, and then the O, and then the phant. So hierophant, the air, or how would you put that? Somebody who inherits something from someone else, whether it be an authority figure or like an elder. So somebody who has received something from an older, wiser being, right? The O is the most ancient symbol for spirit, or the third eye. And phant, like think phantom, without the OM on the end, phant is illusion. So it's the heir to the spiritual eye of illusion. Whew. And it's about to drop. At least for you it is. It's about to drop. Because you're like, excuse me. Sagittarius is going to tell you what time it is. And how to adjust your watch accordingly. All right. I'm a Sagittarius ascending, so I know. I don't feel like I need to clarify that. I love this deck. Everything comes pouring out of it. Yeah, you're seeking. You're finding your way. You're just like, no diggity, no doubts. Where are we going wrong here? I'm trying to find a little keyhole. It's this right here. This right here is the answer. I know people think, or usually typically say in the tarot, that this is like juggling too much. But in actuality, how did you get to the point of juggling too much? Right? Why is this too much? One to give out, one to receive. Right? Both grounded and both in spirit realm, but one's going up and one's coming back down. See, there's a pattern there. Excuse me. So if you're putting too much on the conveyor belt, that's one thing. But right now, you're starting to figure out that what's putting on the conveyor belt isn't very good. Okay, and it all has to, these two came out separately. It all has to do with this. I was like, all right, this is the subconscious undercurrent, and this is the subconscious undercurrent. This is your inner workings. You are the seeker here. You are the seeker. And you are finding severe lack right now. Okay. So that's the key. This is the little portal thing that's going to help you really figure that out. Now, I don't know how you want to proceed with putting things out on the conveyor belt, just so you can get a clear picture about how the energy works and operates. So once you speak, say, think, have heavy emotion behind something, and you put it out on the conveyor belt and it comes back, right? So understanding that whole paradigm of operation, right? Understanding that you are in and on the web. You're not just a little speck on the spectrum. You are your own individual spectrum on this vast, multi-dimensional, fractaled ecosystem of a web of life. Okay. That's how that works. We make ourselves so small in this equation when in fact we are the manifestors of this equation. So anybody who's telling you that you're not smart enough, not big enough, not small enough, not rich enough, not knowing enough, not whatever. Whatever's happening here with this negative authority figure coming in, that telling you that you have no right to your own autonomy, authority, is the root of the issue here. Okay, so you got to figure out how to, and you are starting to figure out. Well, then you don't get my freaking Pentacles. That's a good way to start, Saggy. Take all your Pentacles and go the F home. That's a good start. All right, let's get you some Queen Mob. That is actually the way to starve them out, is stop giving him your Pentacles. So if it is like, you know, you're going to school for something and you're like, this doesn't make any effing sense whatsoever, because when that rubber meets the road, the science is either lying, or the people spouting the science are lying, or the people performing the tests are lying. Somebody is kooking here. Or maybe it's a, you know, this might sound like a good business practice, but right now the companies that practice that are being targeted and demonized and whatever else. And this actually isn't good for the community. It's toxic. Right? So you can see the vast outcome that even though the bottom line might look nice, the rest of the world is suffering because of these people's choices and whatnot. So you're beginning, whatever this is, you're beginning to see through it. Or maybe it is a religious leader telling you that, hey, if you don't do this, you're going to go to a fiery place. And so, go ahead and tell them what time it is, Sag. Just tell them what time it is. Like, yeah, I live there. What's your point? It's nice. It's nice in the winter. Okay? Tell them what time it is. Turn that frown upside down and walk away. All right. Queen Mob, what does Sag you need to know? Ooh, felt that from the undercurrent. Okay. Anything else? All right. Ooh, would you have cut? Okay. A most prosperous perfection. Ooh, Saggy. Look at that. I'm getting that song by Alicia Keys. This girl is on fire. Heart is blessing. Bleeding, not blessing. Sorry, cursive. I was like, that doesn't look like blessing to me. And thou art a witch. Ooh. But seriously, like, legit, kids, who isn't? I mean, if you're not dipping your fingers into the energy that is the cosmos power, it's pretty much just dead inside anyway. So I don't even call it witch anymore. I'm like, you're either dead or you're not. You're living or you're dead. Pick a lane. That's all you gotta do. Pick a lane. I'm gonna put the bleeding heart in the background. Protect it a little bit. There you go. Alright. So we got 13. Ooh, lucky number 13. And this is the first time I've ever read this card before. So. Alright. A most prosperous perfection. Expect abundance. Appreciate beauty and blessings. Monetary wealth and general abundance are on the horizon for you now. To usher in these blessings with the greatest possible ease, conjure a sense of expansive gratitude and present each present moment opulence. When you delight in the bounty and beauty surrounding you, you will naturally attract even more of the same. The simplicity of this axiom makes it no less true. You become wealthier when you appreciate the wealth you already have. Your physical body alone is a luxurious gift. When you pay attention to your senses and make a point of textures, colors, tastes, sounds, scents, environments, music, and just the electric aliveness of being in a body, you are, of course, instantly rewarded with pleasure. but you also open up magical channels to receiving more and more such pleasurable rewards. I cannot. Gratitude is like the foundation of receiving. It is true that in your human culture, the topics of wealth and luxury are burdened with complex layers of painful narratives, stories of scarcity, class, greed, entitlement, hunger, guilt, envy, and disenfranchisement. Oh my goodness. Disenfranchisement. That sounds horrible. Disenfranchisement. Okay, well, that's a word. It's not rolling off my tongue. My brain's like, what did you just do? Sorry. In many cases, these stories are not just stories. They are also real experiences of poverty, inequality, anti-quoted religious programming, and crushing injustice. Well, we did cover those. You may have had such experiences yourself, or your ancestors may have passed on some of their lingering horrors to you. You can honor the truth. Sorry. You can honor the truth of these past experiences without unwittingly allowing them to hold you back from receiving the abundant flow of resources that is your due. First, allow yourself to become conscious of the challenging emotions and beliefs you harbor about wealth and success. For example, notice if you feel resentment towards people with more money than you. If you believe it is intrinsic to your identity to struggle financially, or if you believe wealth requires a back-breaking amount of work, look for any and all stories that may be paving the way for disempowerment and write them down. Then question them, dismantle them, and compose new, different stories about wealth that empower you rather than keep you saddled with lack. Also, look for the wealth you already have, the clean water that runs through your Clean up the water that runs through your pipes, the roof over your head, the food in your kitchen, and the clothes you especially love to wear. Even if your current bank balance is relatively small, see if you can feel grateful for the money you do have. Also, look for or cultivate a feeling of bounty when you laugh. Spend time with loved ones. Engage in activities you enjoy. Finally, be careful not to measure your wealth against the wealth of others, using external indicators of status. The definition of wealth is not to the degree to which you can impress others with fancy, stylish, and expensive things. Wealth is simply knowing that by your own intrinsic standards of comfort, stability, and enjoyment, you have enough. Ooh. All right, 21. Heart is bleeding. Be kind and compassionate towards yourself. You have become so invested in an imposing commitment, standard, belief, fear, or self-image that you have, forgotten to notice or value how your heart feels. First and foremost, tend to your heart. Acknowledge where you are suffering. Be mindful of the ways you feel exhausted, inauthentic, or out of your element, or out of alignment with your values. Perhaps you are spending significant time in an environment that doesn't nourish you, or around people who don't actually know you or want you to thrive. Or you may be hiding your true personality or preferences, not just from others, but also from yourself. It may also be the case that you need to take some downtime to rest, journal, and become aware of your true feelings and desires. Once you take time to listen to yourself, you may discover that you will benefit from making a major change, such as leaving a relationship, study program, or career, or perhaps embarking on a brand new path. Or you might want to stay where you are, but to do so authentically, you need to make some changes in how you show up or interact. You could be operating under the assumption that the relationship or life choice will only work if you completely or partially conceal who you are. That assumption is self-defeating. Here's why. If you choose to stay in the situation without making any changes to how you approach it, you will undoubtedly begin to feel drained. On the other hand, you may abruptly leave the situation before you actually know whether or not it's a good match for you. The only solution is to be transparent and genuine. Have a potently uncomfortable conversation. State what you need. Open up and let your true feelings and desires show. Set whatever boundaries you feel right for you and see what happens. Some situations and relationships will be in harmony with you, others won't. But you can't know unless you give yourself the opportunity to find out. Have compassion for yourself. Remember your value. Take the time you need to reconnect with your heart. Allow your feelings to be what they are without judging them. And then follow your heart's clear direction. All right. Ooh, 20. Thou art a witch. Work your magic. You need fear no one and nothing. You have the power to transform this situation into one that pleases you. When the witch goddess Circe discovered her magic, she began to fashion her world according to her will. While she was only one goddess among many distinguishing divinities, she was cunning and resourceful. She always found a way to work with what she knew and what she had to protect and emerge victorious. Even when she tangled with the wildest humans and the most powerful goddess and gods. For centuries, witches were feared and loathed for more than we were respected or esteemed. So you may believe that if you were to unapologetically assert your power and influence, you would be seen as unattractive, unlikable, or even evil. You might fear that the people will whisper behind your back or shun you, or that you will end up alone and lonely. Maybe this paradigm has become so entrenched that you have willfully or denied or unknowingly suppressed your power out of fear. Well, no more. You are the authority in your world, so what would you like to experience? In what ways would you like to feel freer? In what relationships would you like to shift the balance of power? This is your card, Saji. Love you. Circe transformed a rival nymph into a sea monster and a crew of trespassing sailors into a drove of pigs. When she was banished to an island, she made it into her idyllic domain. Your transformations may not be as dramatic, but if someone currently appears to be a rival, a trespasser, or a tyrant, or to otherwise stand between you and your desired reality, transform their role. Ooh. A rival, trespasser, or tyrant can become any number of things. A friend, an ally, a peer, a subordinate, or simply someone from your past whom you never need to worry about or interact with ever again. Once you determine how you would like to transform a relationship or another aspect of your world, relax. Breathe consciously. Clear your mind and come into the present moment. And when you feel ready, listen to the clear inner guidance that bubbles up from the deep. You may feel guided to seek out and perform a spell or ritual to change how you perceive or approach this situation, to ask for a specific variety of help or support, or to embody your power while clearly visualizing your ideal success. Or you might feel compelled to do all these things. You have an abundance of transformational wisdom and power available to you. Access it now. Ooh, Saggy. That's cool. Okay, go out, be free. Explore, my little philosophers. Until next time, keep your flame.